Hello Viper, my old friend. Remember 2 years ago we defeated the invasion? Now the aliens are back with a brand new weapon. And we will have to do this once again. As the game starts, you are given a selection of weapons that you can choose. Now, you can select them based on a package they give you, and you are not allowed, let's say, switch package and let's say pick as you choose, which is kind of sucks. I admit that's the matter, and I don't know, since our system is not working, I've been clicking on this site for one time too many and it's not even selecting. Should I even, let's say, get over and start with the game? No idea, I'll just click one more time. Are you guys sure that this thing is not broken? Seems to be broken to me. Yeah, seems to be okay. Finally, we got ourselves started. Now, as usual, you'll be flying your Vector Viper again, and you'll be using, let's say, the power energy to collect another weapon to help you. Now, this time the enemies have different ways of movement, which actually is much more interesting. And I need to admit, this doesn't make sense. I mean, in space you do not have so many suns all collected together, but it does make the platform tougher to move. Not to mention they are, let's say, hands gripping out of the space, let's say, attack you for no reason. Ambush do come from any direction, which makes this game one of the toughest games. And I didn't notice actually those things have the head of a dragon, so fire dragons are hiding inside the thing. Could be that way. Wow. Now, I need to admit, this is kinda cool. I've seen solar flares in documentaries here and there, but I never know that solar flares will be part of the things that's gonna kill me over here. So as usual, try to be careful, try to avoid the solar flares, and if you're not able to catch the enemy cube, don't do it. Not worth the while, okay? Not worth the while. But there's one thing I didn't mention. In side scroll like this, or in the side scroll in the old days, all movement actually are calculated. So you can, let's say, anticipate indeed, or let's say estimate how they move and then make it to the full use of your advantage. So eventually, if you play the game more than multiple times, you know how to, let's say, get all the power-ups and, let's say, fight enemies. And I have no idea why there's a flying burning hawk in there to deal with. And here we come with the part which I am kind of confused. The, let's say, destroyable obstacles. Now, most of them are designed in a web lighting, and which this will be taken back into Salamandra. And I'm not going to say that's a bad design, but this game actually encourages people, let's say, tapping, let's say, shift button, which in the old days would, let's say, destroy our, let's say, game controllers by, let's say, strapping it to one time too many. Now, there's one thing different from Salamander is the arms over here are not destructible, so you can, let's say, shoot a lot of times, it's not going to help you. And not to mention there are a lot of, let's say, projectiles coming here and there. Now, this has not even come to a stage of what we call bullet hell, which in later game designs actually make things tougher for you. The movement of the projectiles are, let's say, fewer. You still have, let's say, areas to maneuver around. Now, as usual, here comes the stage boss, which is always in the middle, and this time is a giant eye for no good reason. The arms actually shield the projectile, but with so many projectiles here, I don't think that's a matter. Okay, now I need to point out what's going on here. You do notice that the Viper is gone and is being replaced by an energy block, right? Now this is happen when your power reaches the maximum level. And one hit actually does not destroy a ship, it just removes the power. And don't be, let's say, too attracted to it, because once level is over, that thing is gone. This can only be done by experienced players, technically me at present, where you get most of the power-ups, not all the power-ups, and avoid being hit through the game. Yes, as usual, once you get hit, you lose the power-up, which is a sad thing, but sometimes it can be very devastating, because with all those power-up loss, you can't do anything. Now, these are the asteroids which confuse me a lot, because they seem to be destructible, which can be done. But on the other hand, it takes a lot of shot, and their movement is so irregular that it's very hard to know how they move. Not to mention the big ones actually scatter the small balls. Now, you do see that the screen is actually getting blurrer and blurrer, which is an NES problem. I mean, the NES has a lot of problems, and for these shooters where there's a lot of things going on, it makes things even worse. So how to avoid this from happening actually is to stop shooting. Yeah, I see it stops doing and make that thing, and what the hell? Oh, no, this boss actually is a lot like previous boss. I mean, the tentacle shield hands, and then the middle section is his weakness. The only difference that it's not inside a chamber and the middle section actually can shoot weapons. Now, one thing good about this boss is its tentacles are not that long, not a big deal. The only problem it has is there are too many projectiles that you have to, let's say, avoid. Not mention you're shooting face to face with the enemy, which will, let's say, get you hit at the same time. This is where your globes come in to help. They can, let's say, shoot projectiles at the same time while you stay in a safe place. As for next level, oh dear, we are back on Easter Island again. Now come on, I mean, they are definitely designed a budget, although it is a bigger budget. Of course, they're going to recycle some parts that are memorable. Let it be good or let it be bad. I mean, some people like to see this, some people don't. As for me, I'm the one that's expecting something more. Although they did give me something more, the Easter Island is actually can shoot projectiles to your mouth, which I need to say makes no sense over here. And here we go, left to right, and just put it this way, actually the balls being shot up by those Easter heads reminds me a lot of the projectiles that you'll be used in our time. Yeah, these as one of the early games. It does give influence here and there. And now I'm fighting an Easter head that leaps around. Shouldn't they be fighting aliens over here and not hitting an Easter egg in space? Yeah, this doesn't make sense. But eventually, just take your time, let your orbs do the job, and this boss will take care. Remember, there's only one thing you need to do in such games. Avoid to be hit by any projectiles. The shooting may be important, but it can be, let's say, taken over by someone else. In this case, the projectiles around you. Now, just put it this way, what will happen if I lose one projectile and if I get hit? Will it be serious? Will it be bad? Yeah, I need to tell you, it will be kind of bad for this case. And more Easter Island reference, so yeah, I really don't get it. Maybe the game designer themselves already have a package for Easter Islands. I mean, we got giant heads, steel heads, heads on top, heads in bottoms, and heads that can open their mouth to shoot out small heads. And we end up by destroying their mouths. Well, you can say that's one kind of a blowjob for them. Okay, now before even giving us anything, we are being jumped to the new stage where there are a lot of projectiles moving towards us, making matters even worse. Lots of these projectiles actually do look like our energy cubes. I mean, they're square in shape, the only difference is their size and sizes. This will cause confusion, which a lot of players didn't know until they got themselves hit. And oh dear, we are fighting the, let's say, the Silent Raider again. Yeah, it's a different design, not as cool as the old one. And with all these projectiles, I think I got more firepower than he does. Yeah, his weapons may be devastating, but the shot are slow. The fire rate is slow, not mentioned. Not as many darker as I have over here. Okay, that's done with him. Let's go to the next level and see what we have to deal with. Oh, a giant brain again. Yeah, why not? The first time the giant brain worked, why don't they just make another giant brain for us to deal with? And a giant brain with an eye in the middle and two arms around me. What is this going on? Another Cthulhu Mythos reference over here? Yeah, care to think about it? Based on what we have in Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden, and now in Gradius, we really have a lot of Cthulhu, let's say, ideas from here. And now we are fighting a giant windmill in space. Yeah, I call this a windmill in space. What else can let's describe it? Oh. Okay, now that's new. I didn't expect you to pull that out. But actually it does not, let's say, work to the advantage of you. I mean, you're pulling your tentacles out, making you, let's say, much more vulnerable. You're not able to hit me, I can hit you. Not worth it, man. Yeah, it is a unique design. I mean, visually it's nice. But game-wise, you make yourself in a position, you put yourself in a very bad position where, like, I can take full advantage of you. See, I move out slow, I really can take my time. And with my, let's say, ops doing most of the work, I don't need to stay in an area where you can, let's say, harm me at all. So yes, for side-scroller, it is indeed better off for you to, let's say, not get hit. It is very rewarding. But I admit it's kind of tough. And now I'm finding a giant eye. Or giant ping pong ball with an eye. Or giant bachelor nipple. No idea, it's dead anyway. Okay, who's next? I think this is technically a boss rush, right? Alright, come on, who's next? Another globe. Alright, guys, I think we should, let's say, stop taking our influence from Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, the ball is kind of a thing that actually freaks a lot of people out. But should you try other shapes? I mean, Star Trek at least they use a cube for the drop ship. I mean round things, or let's say ping-pong shaped things, or let's say spears are kind of old. I mean, space-wise, yes, you can design shit to a spear shape, but visually, this is not good vibrant. Okay, now this is one part where all side-scrollers drag the most. What I mean drag the most, you can see that I'm flying through a tunnel, and you really don't want to fly through a tunnel when you are playing side-scroller. Your movements are actually limited. Make it harder for you to duck projectiles, and make it easier for you to say ram onto a wall and die. This is why actually Luke Skywalker did the trench one in Star Wars Episode 4 was a very bad idea, and well, oh my god. I mean, what the heck, right? Is giant robotic intestine or something? Okay, then there are, more tunnels to fly in. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why people actually die in outside. This is one reason why outside is such a scary game. I think we really got the idea from here, and what am I fighting now? Oh, another giant base. How original. And it is kind of tough. I mean, there are a lot of details to build it. The projectiles, the image shot, the small robots that shooting projectile enemy. I need to avoid all this. And yeah, as usual, the middle section is always the weak spot where you need to blow out. And what the hell? Oh, this is weird. Okay, now this is a little bit tough because you really don't want to touch this boss at all. Thankfully, the legs are so skinny that you can, let's say, avoid them if you are, let's say, careful enough. As usual, you can see, but chances for you to use the Vector Viper to kill it is really limited. So most of the time you maneuver around him and then let your clones do the job. There are times you can, let's say, do a shooting, just make sure all of our line in one straight line because actually that increases your shots rates and, let's say, increase your fire power and damage. And now we are flying through lots of intestines, which actually reminds me a lot from Salamander. Yeah, we will be doing Salamander one of these days. Get with this, and yeah, the tentacles, the destructive tentacles that we are going through here all over again. Seen in Salamander again, but at least these guys are not as annoying. Why do I mean annoying? Because this actually gives me a lot of bad flashback while playing Salamander. What kind of flashbacks? We'll talk about that later when we do that game. Okay, we have gone through that level. Now let's see what we'll be doing. I believe it's another big thing in the middle where we need to die, right? Oh, what the? What, there are even fingers going through here. Whoa. Alright, that was skinny. Now that is cheating. How would I know you something will come out from here? Unless I play the game one time too many. Not to mention the movement over here actually is kind of tough. And you can see the spacing is kind of narrow. With little to no margin of error. I'm talking about no margin of error, and then they really gave me no margin of error. They actually sealed the place. Just put it this way, if I actually did not, let's say, move fast in time, I will be trapped at the back part. Okay, now I'm fighting a giant. Okay, at least you guys do the head right. It's more than a brain. You got nose, got eyes, got mouth. You guys should have put teeth in it. And why are they, let's say, warriors stuck to his head? So this was the alien secret weapon. Not much of this secret providing giant head. Now let me guess, you guys did giant heads, and so did Star Wars. I mean, yeah, they did giant monkey head. I see that giant heads is always something that being loved by a lot of people for no good reason. Maybe this was why in the Mummy they also use a giant sand head or a giant water on the second show to this will freak us out. Or let's say chase our main character around when they're flying aircraft. Maybe they should make a game based on that idea, but that is the time is already far where NES is in the past. So take that out. It's kind of a waste and should have done that. And that was it. Now I'm doing so all the while I was in a giant spaceship. And there it goes. So how is it? I need to admit I prefer this one than the first Chaos game because it got more stuff in it. And the ship actually is well designed. Not to mention, it does give us a little cinematic. And for NES, a little cinematic is better than no cinematic one way or another. Let it be. So what will we be doing next time? What do you mean Arnold is wielding a boomerang blade? This doesn't make sense. Is There's such a game that do that. Alright, fellow watchers, we'll see you next time when we deal with that individual game. See you then.